Do you know you need to strengthen your body, but we are brand new to Pilates and maybe have a little bit of joint sensitivity? Well, today's class is just for you. Hey friends, it's Kate here. Thanks so much for joining me today. I've got a complete beginner Pilates class. This one is particularly good for those of us that maybe have a little bit of joint sensitivity. We will not be doing anything kneeling, and we're either going to be standing or lying on our back. It's also a really great class for those of us that are new to Pilates because we're going to talk quite a bit about properly engaging our abdominal muscles and making sure we are controlling our whole torso while we move some of the other body parts. No props are needed whatsoever. Simply roll out your mat. Let's get started. Let's start standing, fingertips by your sides, ears lift high. Take a moment to check in with the body. Just stand up as tall and straight as we possibly can. Take a nice big inhale. As you exhale, dip your chin to your chest. Bend lightly at the knees. Fold from your sternum and take a small, very shallow forward fold. Almost imagine there's something in your hands, kind of pulling the hands down. We're not going for touching the floor or imagining our head falling to the floor. Instead, we're just really rounding through the back of our body. And then roll one vertebra at a time all the way up to standing and pause. Again, big inhale, exhale, chin to chest, little bend in the knees, and again, begin to take that small, shallow forward fold. Do you want to stay at that stopping point we hit the first time? Does it feel nice to bend a little further? Big breath. Roll all the way up to standing. One more time, just like that, chin to chest, bend the knees, begin to forward fold. We can stay at that first little stopping spot. We might take it a little further. We might come into a deeper forward fold. You can really follow whatever feels good for you. In your forward fold, no matter where you are, let's wake up the body a little bit more, a little sway of the hips, a nod of the head. Come back to center, tuck your tail, and bring yourself all the way up to standing. Now let's begin to activate our muscles a little bit more. I want you to think about lifting away from the floor, almost like your feet are suction cupped to the floor and you're trying to lift away. Now where your thigh and your glute connect, if you're new to me, I call that area our thut, our thigh butt. Give your thut a little squeeze like you could hold a pencil between your glute and your hamstrings. We want those muscles working hard. Now one pitfall I see from a lot of my newer students is we don't really know how to engage our tummy muscles. Oftentimes when I see people engage their abdominal muscles, what they do is they end up just sucking in. Now there's a big difference between me simply sucking in as deeply as I possibly can and then actually engaging the tummy muscles. For me, it's like there's a belt around the small of my waist and it's lightly cinching in from all directions. So those tummy muscles, they just contract a little bit, trying to help lift me out of the waist. It's not like the goal isn't to make myself as small as I possibly can or to pull the belly button really far back, even though I say that a lot. It's more about just making sure those muscles are turned on. So we want to think about that throughout the entire class. In fact, we can engage our abdominal muscles, our core, just standing tall and straight. And I hope that you noticed by simply really turning on those abdominal muscles, your posture probably kind of self-corrected. When we have a strong core, it's a lot easier to lift our chest up, to broaden across, to let the fingertips dangle, and you might have even gained a little inch or two in your height. Now throughout class, especially at the start here, we want to continue to think about those abdominal muscles, our core, working hard from the front to the back, everything kind of lightly contracting inwards. Now, all I want us to do is take a big, deep inhale. Reach the fingertips up a little higher. Are your tummy muscles still turned on? Engage a little more, reach up. Now, clasp the hands behind your head and poke the elbows wide. If it feels good, put a soft bend in your knees. We're still using our abdominal muscles. Pay attention to your hips and your knees. As you twist to the right, keep the hips and knees totally still. Return center. A little twist opposite direction. Turn center. Let's do that again. And by not moving the hips and knees, I mean, we don't want to let our hips kind of poke back or our knees punch forward. When we take the twist, it might look smaller if we keep our lower body still, but not only do we get maybe a bigger stretch through our spine, but we also engage our abdominal muscles more. We're already turning on our core. Now go ahead and look forward. Drop your hands by your side. I'm going to turn forward. You can face whatever direction you want. We're going to do a little balance work here. If we need a chair or wall nearby, that's always okay. Hands can be at our hips or off to the side. Engage, lift up. Take your hands wide like me if you want to. If they are wide, push down into an imaginary table like you are pushing down so hard and you're turning on those muscles too. Now I want you to pick up your left heel, just touching your toe to the ground. Now in our Pilates class, we often do a lot of work on our back where we take our leg forward or kind of away and back in, using our core to control that. And we can do that standing upright as well. I want you to take a big inhale. As you exhale, wrap the abdominal muscles in, feel that core work, and now try to just pick up the knee lightly and touch it down. Again, we start by contracting the muscles, lifting the knee, dropping it down. Exhale, tummy works, knee floats up, touch it down. That big exhale that we're doing is almost to me like a punch to the gut. If someone came up and just punched in the gut, you would feel all of those deep abdominal muscles contract. That's the feeling we want here. Contract, float the knee up, touch it down. Again, contract, float the knee up, touch it down. Now you could do this seated, just as I'm doing it standing. You could sit at the front edge of your chair and just lightly pick up the knee as high as you can while using our core to help lift and lower. Let's do one more. Exhale, contract, lift, drop it down. Last one, contract, lift, drop it down, pause, and relax. And hopefully that felt a little bit different than when we just simply lift and lower the leg. We're really focusing on the right muscles working hard. Same thing other side. Let's pick up the opposite heel. For me, that's my right. If you did the other side, no big deal. Push down into your table. Start to contract. Exhale, float, touch it down. We turn on the tummy muscles, we lift and lower. Now, you've got so much going on in your head already. That's part of our Pilates. It is just as much of an exercise for your mind as it is your body. But could we also start to think about our left side? It's easy to kind of sink over. And I want you to pretend like I'm holding your ear, pulling your ear straight up to the ceiling. Yes, beautiful. Contract, lift, bring it down. Contract, lift, bring it down. And again, it's that like punch the gut as you exhale. Beautiful job. Exhale up, bring it down. 2 more, exhale up, bring it down. Last one. Bring it down, pause. Go ahead and separate your feet a little bit wider than your hips. Toes can be parallel or turned out, whatever feels good for you. We're going to think about our oblique muscles, those side tummy muscles. You can have a soft bend in the knee if that feels better for you. Hands are going to go behind the head and we're going to poke our elbows nice and wide. Notice if we just lost control of our core, maybe opening up the ribs. I want you to wrap the ribs in, feel the abdominal muscles work, still squeeze your thigh butt connection point. And from here, I want you to lightly lean over to your right. As you exhale, I want you to think about pulling your left rib towards your left hip, bringing yourself upright. Same thing other side, little lean over. And now it's our right oblique, that right side tummy that contracts and pulls us up. It's a small, subtle movement. It's a little bit of an open kind of stretch. And then, those abdominal muscles help pull us up. We lean over. Exhale, cinch and lift. We lean over. Exhale, come on up. Now, again, this isn't the deepest kind of abdominal engagement maybe we've ever done. It's perhaps a different way to kind of use our abs. But I'm really focusing on that side tummy, bringing my shoulders, my chest upright. There's no reason that we can't do some abs standing tall and straight. This is also good for our posture. We're making sure our shoulders stay nice and open. Let's do one more. Over. Exhale, pull it up, pause. Relax. Again, toes can stay pointed forward or off to the side. Take a big inhale like we've already done today. Exhale, flip the palms, chin to chest, bend your knees. Find another little forward fold. And we can stop in any of those more shallow positions, or we might have the range of motion to deeply forward fold with our legs a little wider. Now maybe it feels nice to very softly sway the hips side to side. You could have your hands on your thighs or your shins for more support, no right or wrong. Wherever you are though, tuck the tail a little bit more and slowly roll yourself all the way up to standing and pause. Beautiful. Let's lie down on our back. Take your time arriving. And we want our heels in line with our hips. If they're a little further away or a little closer in, I'm okay with that as long as they're parallel to the hips, not too wide or too narrow, just right. I also like to have my hands further away from my body. That helps me encourage to keep my chest open. When they're right by my side, it's very easy to cave the chest in. So open the hands in a diagonal angle and push the palms down into the floor. Now let's focus on our low back. We want to imprint our spine today. That means to press the low back lightly down into the mat. You should feel the lower portion of your back connecting to the mat. And I want you to, in your mind's eye, follow each little vertebra up your spine to the place between your shoulders. Is there any tension here? Is there any kind of resistance where your shoulders are caving in? Can we press the shoulders down as well? Point the nose to the sky like you're Pinocchio and relax the face. Give your face a little wiggle, maybe smile. We can smile in class with me, I hope you know that. And now, just like we did when we were standing, I want you to start to engage your abdominal muscles. Remember, that doesn't mean to suck in. It's that wrapping sensation, those muscles working hard to help control our lower body. Notice, did your back arch or did your tail tuck too much when we did that? We want to maintain that imprinted spine. Nothing should have moved except our abdominal wall kind of turned on a little bit more. Just like we did when we were standing, we're going to take a big inhale. As we exhale, engage the tummy muscles, pick up your right leg. As much as we can, we want our knee right over the hip. If it's a little further away or closer in, not the end of the world, but knee over hip and knee in a 90-degree angle is the goal here. Your toe can be pointed, flexed, or soft. Set your right foot down, take a big inhale, engage the tummy muscles, pick up your left leg. Set the foot down, pick up the opposite foot. So it's like we're doing a little walk or a little march. You can go at your own pace. In our Pilates, it's not about speed. In fact, usually the slower we go, the harder it is. Now I know I told you to keep your hands wide in a little V to help open up your chest, and you're welcome to stay there. But you can also bring your hands to your hips to give yourself some awareness of what's going on in your lower body. It's really easy when we're doing these slow marches to lean over, letting one hip kind of pop up. And we want both of our hips to remain still. Our sacrum, that big bony plate at the base of your spine, should be touching the mat the entire time. And there should be no rocking or shifting in the pelvis. And remember, it's almost that like punch to the gut, lift the leg. Drop it down. Engage the tummy muscles, lift the leg. Drop it down. Beautiful. Now the next time that you pick up your right leg, can you keep it there? Pick up the leg, pause, and I want you to flex the foot and point the toe. Flex the foot and point the toe. One more time, flex and pause. Take a moment here. What is happening in your lower back? Did it arch? Can we push it down? Maybe keep the hands at your hips or take them away. Now, 5 times, can you straighten the leg as much as you can without arching the back? We want to keep it connected. And if that means your leg is up here or we don't fully straighten it, that's fine. Just do as much as you need to. And then rebend the knee. I want you to push the foot away and pull it back. Now, really, I'm okay with you inhaling or exhaling on either of the movements. So maybe it feels good to exhale as you push, really contracting the abdominal wall, and inhale, bringing the knee right back. Or maybe it feels better to inhale as you straighten the leg and exhale as you bend. As long as we are being careful with our breath and we're still controlling our abdominal muscles and our whole kind of center of our torso, keeping our lower back touching the mat, that's really what's important. We don't want to feel like our belly button is kind of pushing up to the ceiling, but instead, those abdominal muscles are wrapping in, holding us nice and steady. Let's do one more in and out, and then set your right foot on the floor. Take a big inhale, exhale, tummy muscles work, pick up the left leg, a few times flex, and point. Know that if at any point I'm doing too many reps for you, that's okay. You can stop, you can pause and reset. There is nothing wrong with that whatsoever. The next time, flex your foot and hold, contract the abdominal muscles more, open up across the chest, and same thing, push it away, pull it in. Now, for many of my students, when we straighten our leg away from the body, that's where it's most often that we kind of lose that abdominal engagement. We might arch our back, we might let our belly button kind of pooch to the ceiling. When that happens, I want you to resist and instead envision a belt is kind of contracting and cinching in, just making everything work a little bit harder. Two more, push it away, pull it in, push it away, pull it in, and then pause. Let's set our foot back onto the floor. Is your spine still touching the mat? Are you still imprinting? That's what I want. Take your hands away if they are on your hips. And now from here, can we lightly push down into our heels? I want you to very lightly tuck your tail so your pubic bone is trying to lift up. And then we'll slowly rise the hips up into a small bridge. Now this does not have to be the deepest bridge. I'm only lifting up about halfway, just getting a little bit of space between my tushy and the mat. Now squeeze your thigh butt connection point a little bit more. That might help you lift the hips just a teensy bit higher. Notice if your ribs try to separate. It's easy to kind of push them up to the ceiling. That's really not the goal here. It's more about lifting your pelvis as one whole piece. Kind of finding maybe almost a little open feeling through the front of your psoas, the front of our hips. Take a big inhale, and then from the sternum, roll one vertebra at a time all the way down. Again, lightly tuck the tail, rise up. See if we can pause about halfway. Take another breath. As you exhale, squeeze your thigh butt connection point, maybe lift the hips just a little higher and roll all the way down. Beautiful. Let's do that a few more times. You might go faster or slower than me. It's perfectly fine. Again, I do like to point out that slower is usually harder. So my friends trying to speed through, you are making it a little bit easier on yourself if that's the case. This is not a cardio class. This is a Pilates. Beautiful. One more time. Little tuck, lift, big inhale, exhale, squeeze your thigh, push it up higher, roll all the way down to the ground. Beautiful job. Let's hug your right knee into your chest. Now it might feel better to hold behind the thigh rather than pulling deeply on the joint, but I'm just gonna, and you can let your foot kind of float up like mine is, because this is more about a stretch for the back of the leg for me into the hip. If that feels nice, you can stay there. Sometimes I like to very gently circle around in my ball and socket joint, way up high in my hip, both directions. And then set the foot down. Same thing, other side. Lift the leg. Again, little pull in, a little stretch, and then a little movement. Both directions. Now, one more exercise here. We're going to press both feet down, imprint the spine, and can you extend one leg up to the ceiling? Now, friends, if there's a bend in your knee, that's okay. You don't have to be fully straight. And I do want you to try to point the toe, though. No matter if your knee is lightly bent or straight, pretend like I'm holding your ankle and I'm trying to pull your ankle as far up to the ceiling as possible. So we engage all of the muscles in our legs. Have we forgotten about our abdominal muscles? Wrap the tummy in. Feel your low back connect. For this one, I want you to take your opposite hand, your left hand, to your left hip, and keep your right hand off to the side. Now we're going to do some tiny circles. This is a move we do a lot in our Pilates class, and the first couple of times you do it, it can feel a little bit silly, like what's the point? The point is that we're adding some movement in one part of our body while controlling the rest. Everything else is stabilizing. So think about pushing down into your left foot, pushing the low back down, engaging the tummy muscles, shoulders stay open, and now from here in that ball and socket joint, that place that we just moved, I just want you to begin to circle the leg. Those can be fast or a little slower. Notice when you're circling the leg, are you letting your opposite knee kind of wiggle wobble or your hips kind of hula dance? We want to avoid that. That's what that abdominal control, that engagement through our core is trying to prevent. We're trying not to move while we move our one leg. Now hold for a moment. Did you lose any of your engagement through the leg? Really straighten it as much as you can. Pretend again I'm pulling the heel up to the ceiling, and now reverse your circles. Now the tighter and faster the circles are, the harder this is. So eventually you might be able to do some really teeny tiny little spirals, but right now if we're finding a little bit more movement, they're a little slower. That's a-okay, because we want to focus on knee being still, abdominal wall holding us nice and steady through the center, and our chest relaxed and open. Same thing goes for our jaw. If there's tension through your jaw, through your face, shake it out, smile, you're doing great. Now let's pause, take a big inhale, set your right leg down. Take your right hand to right hip and extend your left leg up to the sky. Shoot it all the way up as high as you can, like I'm pulling your ankle. Wrap the tummy, open the chest, and circles. Now we might notice one side feels maybe a little bit more wonky, a little less intuitive. That's okay. There's usually a good side and what I like to call our side of opportunity. One side just needs a little more attention. Are you still keeping your sacrum, that big bony plate at the base of your spine, still? Really push it down and then hold. Reverse your circle. Are all the muscles in your leg turned on? Can you shake out any tension from your jaw, from your face? Beautiful job. Now hold and set the foot down. Let's open our legs a little wider. Allow your knees to maybe fall towards one another, and just take a little windshield wiper of your knees side to side. That can be as fast or slow as you'd like to go. Walk the heels back towards one another. Pull your knees into your chest. And again, if it feels better to hug underneath rather than above, that's a-okay. And I like to usually curl my head in for a little bit of a stretch the back of my body. If we can, you could even try rocking back and forth. That might be too much for us today, that's okay. Bring yourself up to a seat when you are ready. Take a big inhale, big breath out. And as always, my friend, I invite you to pat yourself on the back. Thank yourself for doing something so good and just for you. I certainly hope you enjoyed class. I cannot wait to see you again.